Hello everyone, Samantha here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I wanted to share on a topic with you today, a topic about the feeling of being switched on. But before we get into that, I just also wanted to share about my videos. So I'll be sharing regular videos once a month and then also be sharing a written blog once a month. So I will be updating via Instagram and my Facebook page and updating on my new website. My new website is www.samanthabriatico.com. So these are all places that you can get this information. But I'll also be sending out fortnightly newsletters. So if you want to be a part of that and join the community, you'll also be getting, when you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free PDF, 7 Rituals to a Slower Life. So yeah, and then you'll get up to date on my offerings that are happening and also any special offers that I have on at the moment. So to sign up for the newsletter, you can go to my website. Again, that is samanthabriatico.com. Okay, so let's get into the topic. So the feeling of being switched on. I would say for most of us, we've experienced this feeling. So the feeling, what I mean by feeling switched on is like when our nervous system is activated. So this usually happens when we feel nervous or we feel anxious about something, if we're stressed, if we're rushing. There's many reasons why our nervous system gets activated. And again, it's on an individual base and what's happening for us in our life. And whilst feeling anxious or stressed every once in a while and getting our nervous system activated every once in a while is not going to do lasting harm. You know, we'll feel it and then we'll release, we'll come back into a more neutral state or more into our parasympathetic nervous system. So when we're activated, we're in our sympathetic nervous system. So that is our flight or flight response. It's when our adrenaline is starting to be secreted. So what happens is that for most of us, and I know for myself, and I have struggled with this over the years, especially after my son was born and not sleeping very much, is that we end up being in this state of feeling switched on or an activated nervous system a lot of the day. So you may find that, I know for myself, what I find, like right now, my son, he goes to school, and so just to get him out of the door, it's never really that easy. Some days we're doing all right. But I end up getting like a little bit activated, like a little bit rushed, you know, a little bit of arguments happening to get shoes on to get out the door and then rushing to the school. So again, what could happen is that I keep in that state of activation and then I rush into my next place. I have to go do some work. I need to go teach, or I'm on to the next place. I'm going to the next place, and I end up staying in that activated state for a good portion of the day. And I'm not really doing anything to come out of there. So this constant state of activation has a really a massive impact on our well-being. So just for some other examples, a lot of times if we get stressed or we get overwhelmed, it's something that happened in the past, but again, we keep carrying this stress with us, this activation. And again, this has a massive impact on our health. So if we were an animal, let's say in the forest, and we found there was danger, so this is normally that stress feeling. We perceive some sort of danger, whether that is being late for school or having too much on our plate and not being able to get it done. That's feeling of stress. So, but let's just say we are an animal and there was a stressful situation. We would run away, or we would fix the situation. We would get away from it, and then we would shake it off. Like animals shake it off. They vibrate their body, have a little bit of tremors, and then they sleep. So they're able to release that stress, that activation, that adrenaline that has been activated in their system. They're able to shake it off, release it, and then they just come back to a normal neutral state, maybe even more of a parasympathetic system activation. But for us, we don't normally do that. We just keep going and we keep getting that activation. And then what's happening now, and from a lot of people I talk to, this is our new normal. So the feeling of being activated and that slight little bit of stress, and sometimes you're going to have like varying levels. Sometimes it's going to be just a little bit of activation, and then when we're in a more stressful situation, there might be a bigger activation in that feeling. But this slight activation, or this feeling of being switched on, has become normal. So this is patterned into our brain, this is patterned into our psyche, that this is feeling normal. But actually it's not, and it's not our normal state. And then we also, when this is happening, when we're secreting adrenaline regularly, feeling stressed, feeling anxious regularly as the new norm, then this is having an impact on our system. It has an impact on our sleep. It has an impact on our how we feel in the day. We start to feel tired during the day, so then we drink more coffee, or we drink things to help us stay up. Our mood gets affected, our digestive system gets affected. So many things are happening, and when this is happening again over longer periods of time, then it's going to affect us even on a deeper level in our system. So this is why I've for myself, I knew, when my son was younger, I wasn't sleeping, especially when you're a mother and you have a newborn baby, it's, that feeling of being switched on, like you're always activated, you're always aware, you're hyper vigilant, you're hyper aware. And so after 2 years of that, I was feeling the impact of this. And so this is why I started I used to have long practices of yoga or meditation, but then having a baby, I had to condense my practices, or maybe sometimes not even practicing at all. But I found that taking smaller practices into my day was really helpful. And even now, let's say I'm rushing to Noah to school and I feel that activation, I like to take a little pause. What I would do a lot with my son is, when I drop him off at school, I try to make time. I know it's not always easy to have that extra time in your day, but to go find a place where I can just sit and I can breathe and I can take a pause. And I think that we all can take little pauses in our day. Even if we're, working, we can always find little times, if we make that time and understand and feel when we're in this more activated state. So if we can regularly check in with how we're feeling, what our state of mind is at, how we're feeling in the body, is my heart beating a little bit fast, is a slight sweat, or these indications that you are in that flight or flight response, then we can counterbalance that. We can come back to a more normal state. And of course, there are going to be times in our life when, we just need to, be pumping out some adrenaline so we can get some stuff done. Like we have a deadline and it's going to be, but then we also need to know that we have to do something to counterbalance that. We can't, if we keep in that state and we don't do anything to help equilibrium, bring us into equilibrium, or to calm us down, or to get into that parasympathetic nervous system, then again, it will have a big impact on our health. So yeah, where do we go from there? So again, I think having some regular practices that you can do, whether that is just time out sitting, even just breathing, maybe going for a walk in the park, maybe it is yoga for you, or some sort of mindful movement. It's something that you enjoy and that can help you come into a more calmer state. Having those regular breaks during your day, especially when you know that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and stressed. So that's it for me now. I'm going to be interviewing some people, with giving you more ideas about ways that we can slow down in our daily life through yoga, through Ayurveda. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about adrenal fatigue with a health coach friend of mine. So just stay tuned for my next videos that are coming up with more information on how we can work with this feeling of being our feelings of stress, our feelings of overwhelmed, dealing with adrenal fatigue, and this feeling of being switched on. Again, I hope you're having a beautiful day, and thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. All right, take care. Bye.